Have you ever been absolutely certain about a memory, only to find out it never happened that way? Maybe you swear you saw a movie as a kid, but it doesn't exist. Or you remember a conversation with a friend, but they insist it never happened. This strange glitch of the mind is called a false memory, and it shows us that memory is not a perfect recording, but a fragile reconstruction. Most people assume memory works like a video camera. You experience an event, your brain stores it, and you can replay it later. But research shows memory is more like a story we rewrite every time we recall it. Each time you remember, your brain edits details, fills gaps, and reshapes the narrative. Over time, the story may drift so far from reality that it becomes a false memory. One of the most famous experiments on this was done by psychologist Elizabeth Loftus. She showed volunteers a video of a car accident and later asked them questions. When she used the word hit, people estimated the cars were going slower. When she said smashed, they remembered higher speeds and even broken glass, though there was none. Just a single word changed their memory. Loftus went further. She convinced people they had been lost in a shopping mall as a child, a completely invented story. After hearing it described enough times, many participants began to vividly remember it happening. They pictured the mall, the panic, even the stranger who supposedly helped them. Their brains filled in details for something that never occurred. And it's not just labs. Think about the childhood stories your family repeats. Sometimes, after hearing them enough, you feel like you remember events you were too young to experience, or weren't even there for. The memory feels yours, but it may have been borrowed from someone else's storytelling. This isn't limited to families. False memories appear in everyday life constantly. Two siblings recall the same family trip but disagree on details. What was eaten, who said what, even where they went. Couples argue over what really happened in past conversations. Each side feels certain, but certainty doesn't equal accuracy. Memory feels real even when it's wrong. Our memories are shaped by suggestion, emotion, and repetition. Hearing someone else's version of a story can overwrite your own. Photographs can trick your mind into remembering being there. Even imagining an event repeatedly can create a sense of familiarity so strong that it transforms into a memory. Collective examples are everywhere. The Mandela Effect is a form of false memory on a mass scale, where groups confidently remember things that never happened, like movie lines or brand names. In pop culture, many swear Darth Vader said, "Luke, I am your father." In reality, the line was, "No, I am your father." Memory errors don't just happen alone. They can spread socially, reinforced by repetition. Neurologically, false memories form because remembering and imagining use many of the same brain circuits. The hippocampus, which helps encode memories, doesn't always distinguish between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. If the emotional weight is strong enough, your brain may tag the imagined scene as real, and that has real-world consequences. In eyewitness testimony, people are often confident but wrong. Courts have convicted people based on memories later proven false. Confidence and detail do not guarantee accuracy, yet juries often believe them. False memories also play a role in therapy, history, and even politics. Repeatedly hearing a story, even from unreliable sources, can make it feel more true. Psychologists call this the illusory truth effect. The more we hear it, the more our brains accept it, whether or not it happened. Sometimes, false memories can even be implanted intentionally. In one study, participants were shown fake photographs of themselves taking a hot air balloon ride as children. Many later remembered the ride vividly, even though it never happened. A single convincing photo was enough to create a memory that felt real. But false memories aren't all bad. They're also a byproduct of the brain's creativity. The same flexibility that lets us misremember also allows us to imagine, to simulate possibilities, and to plan the future. In a way, memory is less about perfectly preserving the past and more about giving us tools to navigate the present. So, what can we learn from this? First, never assume your memory is flawless. Second, recognize that certainty is not proof. And finally, understand that memory is less a photograph and more a painting, one that can be repainted each time you look at it. False memories remind us that our past is not as solid as we think. What you remember might not be what happened. It might be what your brain needed to believe. That's unsettling, but also strangely human. And here's a thought. If memory can be rewritten so easily, what does that mean for who we are? Our identity is built on our past. But if our past is partly imagined, then in a sense we're all living in stories, not strict facts. That makes false memories not just a glitch, but a window into how the self itself is constructed. So here's my question for you. Have you ever been certain about a memory, only to later discover it was false? Did it shake your confidence, or did you laugh it off? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear it. If you enjoyed this exploration, subscribe to The Curiosity Vault. Every day we unlock another hidden story of how the mind shapes reality. Until next time, stay curious.